Guidance is internal. Ignition sequence start. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Permission to board. Permission to come aboard. Permission to board. Permission to bring me aboard. Permission to come aboard.
Welcome to the Permission Granted podcast. Here's DA.
All right, welcome inside the freshest edition of the Permission Granted podcast, everybody. Thanks for being with us. Little reminder, this is all off of the air stuff that you can find only right here on both iTunes and on SoundCloud. We also embed them in Facebook and then put it on YouTube as well. So these are the places you can find our off-the-air stuff. Just search The DA Show CBS Sports on any of them, or go to our Facebook page, facebook.com/The DA Show, youtube.com/The DA Show. Really groundbreaking stuff here on the Permission Granted podcast this week, the PGP. We have got adult film star and webcam legend Jayda Diamonde. Why, DA? Why? That's a great question. Numero uno, because she's a longtime listener of the DA Show. She is in Cleveland, and when we were on the overnights on 92.3 The Fan in Cleveland, she might work some late nights, and she might turn on the radio, and she might listen to the DA Show a lot. And so she was a big fan. And now with the Cavaliers doing what the Cavs are doing, and she's a big Cavs fan, she's been in contact with us via Twitter, and she's had some thoughts on the Cavs, and we were like, we got to have you on the show. So this is the raw uncut. These are the things that didn't make the air, and you'll see why. The stuff that we played on the air was her Cavs-centric stuff. The stuff that you're going to hear is not only that, but also her industry-specific stuff. So you'll enjoy that. Also, Kenny Brock makes a triumphant return, our former Wheels of Steel artist, as he got hit by a cab, and Mike Samter got hit by a truck or an ambulance or a bus. I think a bus. Anyway, all these producers here at CBS Sports Radio are getting hit by things in New York City, which is not good. So Mraz will go down memory lane with Brock about getting hit by that cab, compare it with the bus, and hijinks ensue. But right now, we welcome on the aforementioned Jayda Diamonde. Jayda, how are you?
Doing great, DA. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. How you feeling with your Cavaliers right now?
After last night's game, I am absolutely pumped. I absolutely believe we're going to win the title.
All right, so where are you watching these games? Who are you watching them with? How fired up have you been getting?
Well, I'm yelling at my TV, which is pretty typical for me.
Okay.
But I've been watching some at home, and I've been going to a couple of the Cavs watch parties.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, even when they're playing down at the Q, we still have about 45 watch parties going on.
So it's like everybody in the city can't be watching it alone. They need to be out in public with other Cavs fans experiencing this.
Exactly.
And so
the whole city,
yeah, go ahead.
The whole city is basically on fire right now. Everybody is just electrified over it.
When you go out to these watch parties, are there guys crawling all over you being like, oh, I've seen you, I watch you, you got to take pictures with me?
No, not typically. Most times people are a little shy to come up and talk to me.
Really?
Yeah.
Why do you think that is?
Probably just because they're a little nervous. They don't really know how to approach me.
So has there ever been anybody that was like, I watch you?
Yes, there has been a couple of those. And then you get a couple of the stares where they stare at you and do a double take, and you just know.
Yeah, they're like, I know you're from somewhere, but I'm hesitant to say where I think you're from.
Exactly, especially if you're anywhere like in a grocery store or anything. It's actually quite comical.
Yeah, have you ever been in the frozen food section and you know that the guy recognizes you from your work and you're like, I know he wants to say something, but right now he's just fumbling through those peas.
Yes, pretty much, actually.
Yeah, I can imagine that. So you go out to the watch parties and, what is this like? So you grew up in Cleveland or in the region? Where'd you grow up?
I actually grew up in Florida.
Oh.
I moved to Cleveland about 10 years ago with my husband, and I have loved it here ever since. I mean, it is absolutely a different atmosphere and a totally different kind of people up here. And it is so amazing, really. The people here are just fantastic. And the way the city gets so excited and so involved what's going on, it's really amazing.
Wow. So you went up there and you said, this is pretty cool. And so as soon as you walked in there, was your husband like a big sports fan? How'd you get addicted to the sports?
Yes, he's always been a big sports fan. And, the sports is just the deal up here. It's just what you do. And I started watching, and I actually got him into the Cavs.
Oh,
he was
yeah?
a Browns fan. He was not into the Cavs, and I started watching them, and I got him addicted.
Wow. So was this like back when LeBron was around the first time in Cleveland that you guys got addicted to it?
It is. It was when he was here the first time, probably 2 or 3 years before he left for Miami.
Mm-hmm. So you're talking to your husband. You're like, okay, enough with the Browns. There's nothing going on. The Browns are already eliminated, and it's only Thanksgiving, so we got to start watching some basketball.
Unfortunately, that's how it goes with the Browns. but yes.
All right. So have you guys gone out to games to the Q?
Oh, yes. We've gone out to many games at the Q. It's the Q is just amazing. We get VIP tickets, so we get to sit up at the top. We're eating, we're drinking, and you get to just watch an amazing game unfold right before your eyes.
How do you get the VIP treatment? Is it you or your husband that gets it hooked up?
Well, we'll say it's me.
Jayda Diamond joins us here on the show, adult film star and webcam legend. So when it comes to, the Clevelanders and the natives in Northeast Ohio, you said that the people are so different from where you grew up in Florida. What makes them so different?
People here are more united, whereas in Florida, everybody kind of does their own thing. They're not, and nobody's really involved in sports in Florida. Like, there's sports teams, but nobody really follows them. Up here, the town is more united. The people they all kind of have the same personalities. And when it comes to big events like this, they just come together, and it's really quite amazing. Like I said, if you had been at the Cavs watch party last night, every time a shot was thrown and made, everybody's jumping up and yelling, and it's really an amazing atmosphere.
The Cavs were up by 20, and then that dwindled to 1. How did you feel when the Warriors were launching that comeback?
Like my heart was going to beat out of my chest.
Yeah, like
that
everybody.
That was not fun. And, they do what they can do with Curry. And so far, they've done a really good job of, even though he's scoring, they've done a good job of keeping them down under so that they don't come above us and have a higher score than us. And then at the, last second, we managed to just keep them down and make that shot. And if LeBron had taken that shot in that last shot on game 1 right into the basket, we'd be up, 3-0 instead of 2-1 where we are now.
I'm sure you would love to meet LeBron, but out of all the Cavaliers players, who's the second most? What person do you second most want to meet?
Deli, of course.
Of course, Deli. I knew you were going to say Dellavedova. That's what everybody is saying right now.
Deli is the man. How could you not love Deli? He is just putting it on them.
How many chicks in Cleveland want to get with Deli right now?
Probably every single one.
And do you think it's because of the beard? Is it because of his scrappy style? Is it that Australian accent? What is it about him?
Ooh, well, that's a hard decision. It's probably the Australian accent and the fact that he's a scrappy guy. He is just ready to go for it, and he dives right to the ground for those balls, and he's all in.
He is all in. He is all in. So I would think that with your industry, there's a lot more opportunities in the state of Florida. Feels like Florida is kind of like the epicenter for adult film stuff and web stuff and stuff like that. Is that true?
There is some stuff done in Florida. It's basically split up between Florida and L.A. and the Valley.
Uh-huh. And so how about for you now being in Ohio? Do you feel like removed from all that stuff?
You know what? No, not really. I do all my camming in Ohio, so I get to still enjoy all of that. Mm-hmm. I don't have any interruption with that. Mm-hmm. And when it comes to shooting adult movies, I'm very particular about who I shoot with. And, of course, they have to pay the price. And when it comes to that, I get flown out to LA, and I stay in a hotel. I get cars the entire time, and so I pretty much get everything set up for me when it's time to shoot.
So that's awesome. That's like the lap of luxury, man. When you go out there, they treat you like a queen.
That's right.
So how's that happen? Do they like email you or call you? Do you have an agent that pitches you things? How do you get contacted by those that want to make films?
I have a pretty good name in the industry. Pretty much everybody knows what I'm looking to shoot, and they hand my contact information around, so they know how to email me, or a producer will call me and ask me if they can give another producer my number, and we pretty much go from there. I do not have an agent. My husband does a lot of my bookings for me.
And so when a producer calls you, what kind of film are you looking for versus what kind of film would you decline being part of?
Well, the kind of film that I'm looking for, how do I say this? I basically shoot top-end movies. So when I'm looking to shoot, the producers already pretty much know that I'm looking for that, and they come right out and they go, "This is what we have to offer. This is what we're shooting. Would you like it? Yes or no?" And I basically tell them I normally don't go out there for less than 4 or 5 scenes. And, of course, the specific price that I'm asking per scene.
Right.
And if you can commit to all that, and then I'm good to go.
How about specific actors, working with actors? Are there ones that you want to work with versus ones that you won't work with?
I have only worked with a handful of actors in the business. For a lot of my Evil Angel scenes, I worked with Shawn Michaels, and he's a really cool guy. He's really laid back. He's lots of fun to shoot with. There's lots of goofing around, and it's just a relaxed atmosphere when you go to shoot, which is really nice to have when there's like 12 people on set staring at you.
Yeah, I mean, that must be hard for everybody out there that obviously would not be comfortable with that. Most of us, when we're in the bedroom, would be worried that somebody would be watching. Everybody is kind of, I'm so nervous. Are we performing well? Am I doing this right? You know, you're always worried about that with your partner. So how is it when you're in the room with 12 other people?
Well, I guess at first you're a little nervous. You get a little anxious. After you do it a few times, you get used to it. Plus, it's probably not shot the way that most people think that it's shot. It's not like a straight through shoot. There's a lot of breaks. You know, you do 3 to 5 minutes of shooting and then you cut, and then 3 to 5 more minutes of shooting and you cut, and they mash it all together and make it work at the end.
How did you get involved at first? What kind of drew you to the industry? I guess when you were in Florida, right?
That was when I was in Florida, and I actually started shooting in Miami. I started on cam first, and then I went to adult movies. I did my first one on my 20th birthday, and got really involved in the adult industry. And then once I got married and everything, I wanted to kind of just slow everything down and settle down a little bit. And so I opened up Cam Sharks, which is where I recruit girls to work on cam for themselves. And it's very nice because it's a business where you get to do whatever you want to do whenever you want to do it in the safety of your own home or your studio.
Is that the part of the industry which is most popular right now or blowing up the most is the cams where somebody's watching and they kind of tell you what to do, they log into your account, they tell you what to do and whatnot?
Absolutely. That is the biggest part of the industry right now. As the DVD movies, they're very expensive to produce, and some of them are scripted, and it's not really how the girl would be if she was doing it by herself in front of a camera, where you really get the true experience of that girl's personality and what her likes and dislikes are.
I would imagine also the internet kind of changed everything, right? Because you have all of these websites that just compile short scenes. So many of them are free that I would imagine there's a lot of business there, but making a full-length movie, full-fledged movie with the budget there doesn't make a lot of sense anymore. Would that be fair?
That would be fair. That would definitely be fair to say as far as the DVDs versus the like short tube clips that you would get off like tube sites.
Yeah.
Whereas webcam is a more one-on-one personalized experience.
Right.
You get to talk to that porn star. You get to interact with her. You get to know anything you want about her. And so it's very individualized, and that's what really makes webcam so great and what has made this industry so popular now.
Yeah, and so you've been in it for a while now. You're one of the biggest names in the industry. Could you ever imagine not doing that? I mean, it's such a part of your life where now you've reached such successes doing it.
I could never imagine not doing it. It truly is a huge part of my life, and I enjoy doing it. I get to express myself how I want, and, I couldn't think of a better thing to do.
I know you guys have an award show. It's slipping my mind. What's the award show at the end of the year every year?
AVN?
Yes, the AVN Awards. And so this is kind of like the red carpet affair, right, for the adult film industry. And
that is correct.
Everybody is there, and they're handing out the awards. What is that event like?
I have not been to the AVN. I have been to the XBiz Awards, which is basically the same thing.
Okay.
And it's actually really, really exciting. When I went to the XBiz Awards, I went for camming. And I got to walk the red carpet, and I was awarded the #1 income-producing chat host in the world.
Is that right? Wow, congratulations. All right.
Thank you.
That's awesome. Wow, that's awesome. So you have a really popular Twitter feed as well where people can follow you if they're listening right now, at Jayda_Diamond, and Diamond ends in an E. And I wonder, is there anything that you can't put up there via Twitter? We were kind of debating this back here at the studios. What can you put up? What can't you put up?
For the most part, you can put up whatever you want within reason. You don't want to get, you pretty much have the same rules as anybody else on Twitter that's in an entertainment business. You don't want to draw bad publicity to yourself. You don't want to fight it out with everybody on the internet. But as far as posting stuff, you can pretty much post whatever you want. You want to make sure that it's the sensitive content is checked, and then you're pretty much good to go.
So topless, bottomless, nudity, that's okay. And then how about actual sexual performance stuff? Can you put that on there too? I
do not put that on there myself. That is what I use webcam for, which you can find me live at JaydaDiamond.com, or I have a website, JaydaDiamond.net. But that's where I post, that's where I do my live shows. JaydaDiamond.net is where I post all my videos that I want to put up. On Twitter, I use it less for posting stuff like that, more for recruiting girls and having conversations with fans.
Yeah, I guess you wouldn't want to give away the milk for free if you can sell it at the county store, right?
That's right.
All right. Well, that is great. So you're all into the Cavs, and then I don't know what you guys in Cleveland are going to do if the Cavaliers actually win a championship. I mean, nobody's going to know what to do if they actually have a parade down Main Street. It's like what's going to happen in Cleveland?
Everybody's going to come out. There's going to be a huge party, and I highly doubt if anybody will go to work for the next 2 weeks.
I'll tell you what, if they win the championship, somebody is going to recognize you at that parade. I can guarantee you this right now.
Oh, I'm sure of that. I know lots of people in Cleveland, so, that's okay. I don't mind. I have signed many autographs, many autographed pictures, posters, DVDs. I always have a few in the back of my car.
Has anybody ever autographed, say, one of your game-worn items, one of your toys, if you will?
I actually, I actually have signed a dildo. I had a dildo that I used for many years, and it was a little beaten up, and somebody wanted my dildo, and they wanted me to sign it. So I signed it and sent it to them.
You know what? I'm glad you did that, and that is in somebody's glass trophy case at their home.
At least it's safe.
That's right. That's right. Jayda Diamond, check her out on Twitter at Jayda_Diamond with an E at the end. Also, JaydaDiamond.net is an easy way to go find her on the internet. Her website, camsharks.com. On Twitter, it's at camsharks. She's the vice president there. Camsharks.net, JaydaDiamond.com. You are all over the place, Jayda.
I am. I can't help it.
Well, it's great, and thanks so much for carving out the time. And go Cavs!
That's right. Go Cavs.
Well, thanks for Jayda Diamond to stopping on. 3, 2, 1. Well, thanks to Jayda Diamond for stopping on by the PGP, the Permission Granted podcast, and Mraz joins me now. Mraz, that's a first.
I hope it's not a last.
She's a bad girl, Damon.
That was awesome. Now,
Now-
Might have been my favorite Permission Granted podcast interview to date.
Have you seen Jayda Diamond's work?
Well, put it this way. Since Jayda had started messaging us on Twitter and I was made aware of her fanship of the DA show,
Yeah.
I made myself a bit of a fan of her.
Okay.
And, I've taken in some films.
Now, does she stand out for any reason? Anything that... I haven't seen any of her films, so I wouldn't...
Well, the things she could do with a certain part of her body, almost like what LeBron could do with a basketball. It's superhuman.
Is that right?
Yes.
Is that right? So, yeah, she was saying that she will only do a certain kind of movie.
Right.
And we had to...
I've watched a bunch of them now.
We had to bleep it out. But, let's see, how do we describe this? It's a certain... it's a certain kind of movie.
Definitely.
Non-traditional?
Non-traditional, I think, is right. Definitely not science fiction.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of at a loss for words. I mean, it's a specific orifice, we should say.
I think that's the right way to go about that. Absolutely.
So she was a big-time listener of the show, huh?
It's awesome. When we were in the overnights, every Friday we would do Target Demo.
Yeah.
I want to know what our Target Demo audience, working those crazy hours in the overnight was doing. We had the gamers. We had the pot smokers. We had, truck drivers.
People working security.
Right.
People working overnight at 7-Eleven.
Anything you could imagine. And never at any point during Target Demo did I think we had people in Jayda's line of work.
Yeah.
And now I know that's the way we go.
Where is adult film star on our Target Demo on the Facebook page?
They're a little busy, I would guess.
I guess so.
They're listening, but they're a little busy to type.
But so she's done a lot of webcam stuff now. And she's been living in Cleveland, and we were on 92.3 The Fan. So she would get done with the webcam stuff, and I guess she would flip on 92.3. Want to hear about the Browns or the Indians or the Cavaliers, just do a little sports talk, and we would be on. And so she became a fan of the show.
Which is awesome. That's utterly awesome. To have somebody even semi-famous have once listened to either of us is pretty awesome, I think.
Yeah, it almost makes you wonder about us going back and thinking about what part of the show she might have heard. Like, did she hear Painkiller Pat?
Right.
Right? Did she hear the Wienership Challenge?
If she heard the Wienership Challenge, like that's my moment of fame.
Yeah.
I owe it to her to watch every single one of her films then.
There's no doubt.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah, I know.
Maybe she was a big Wienership Challenge fan.
Distinctly possible. Distinctly possible. So I also like that last anecdote that she had autographed the certain toy and sent it.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I mean, the gall on somebody to be able to ask for that.
Yeah.
But then you're shocked to get that back and realize that you just received what you asked for. I have to imagine made somebody's Christmas or birthday or something like that. And I can only hope that it is behind a glass case and not anywhere else.
Oh, man. Well, that was record-breaking. That was historic. And also, we have now had 2 producers hit by automobiles here in New York City. Kenny Brock, formerly on the Wheels of Steel, now on the TV side of things, was hit by a cab.
Didn't call for a fair catch.
Racing by CBS Sports, the television side. And then last week, we had Mike Samter, who is the executive producer of Tiki and Tierney.
Right.
Who got hit by a bus when he was riding his bike, one of the city bikes.
Unbelievable.
Now, do we know how Samter's doing?
He's off the rest of the week. He came in the day after.
He got hit by a bus.
Right. I know he's okay. Put it that way. No broken bones, no nothing like that.
Because he put that on Facebook that he was banged up a little bit, but nothing severe.
He was more or less just kind of shell-shocked that he got hit by a bus and pretty much just walked away with a few scrapes. I would be, too. I mean, you hear somebody gets hit by a bus, you're thinking, oh, boy.
Yeah.
But
yes.
I mean, he's alive and kicking.
Especially these giant New York City buses going like 50 miles an hour.
So it's unbelievable for me personally. I'm sure you feel the same way. Within a 12-month span to know somebody, two different people, one person hit by a bus, one person hit by a cab.
Forget 12 months. I think Brock was hit in February or March, and Samter was hit last week.
Right. I mean, you don't want to wish this on anybody. You need somebody to survive a train hit, and then away you go.
Well, look, I mean, knock on wood, bad things come in threes, so this is not good.
That's a good point.
But Samter is going to be okay, which is good. And then you talk to Brock.
And he's great. Brock is back to being Brock, put it that way.
I mean, but Brock was out for a while.
Oh, he was really bad. He was walking with a cane for a little bit, like Pimpy Brock.
Pimpy Brock?
He had a pimp cane for a little bit. He really was messed up. But he's back to being old grumpy Brock, which is good.
Yeah.
That's good. That's how you know he's back and ready to go.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't like where this is going, but I was going to open up a membership with the City Bike thing because the City Bike thing is pretty efficient around here. You can't drive anywhere in Manhattan or New York.
It's ridiculous. It's gridlock like crazy.
Taking a bus is also a disaster. The subways can be a nightmare.
And smell.
And smell terrible and be really hot and so the City Bike is a good idea because you can just pick up, for those that don't know, there's lines of rental bikes everywhere. You don't even have to talk to anybody. It's all automated. You stick your card in the thing, you get the bike, and you just drive it, you ride it to the next stop, and then you just leave it off. So you never have to own a bike. There's no space in New York to own a bike, so it's great. And there's City Bike.
Rent a bike like you're renting a Redbox movie. You just return it, pop out the next one.
Exactly. But this makes me wonder because Samter was riding a City Bike and he got hit by a bus.
And what's scary about those City Bikes is bring your own helmet. So you know there's a lot of people not wearing a helmet when they do it.
Nobody wears a helmet around here.
Which is, I mean, that a couple more inches of turn on that bus and whoopsie daisy.
And here's the thing. The sidewalks in New York City are not empty enough for you to be able to ride the sidewalks. So
they have quote-unquote bicycle lanes.
There are bike lanes. There are some bike lanes.
But cars don't abide by them anyway because there's usually, road work on part of their car lane, so they take over the bike lane. It's a free-for-all.
It's a congested free-for-all like Game of Thrones. And also you have a lot of places that don't have bike lanes. So you will be riding your bike in traffic because you're not supposed to ride them on the sidewalk. So you've got to go with traffic. I mean, yeah.
A little scary.
Well, it's terrifying.
It's terrifying, but it's good to know that Samter survived. But you bring up a good point. Not that many people really walk out of it the way Samter did, getting hit by a bus. So you might want to take it. It's tough to take a chance like that with one of those bikes.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. Brock didn't do anything wrong. He was walking out of his. I guess he didn't look both ways.
Essentially, I guess he must not. But then again, this cab seemed to be kind of cooking it around the corner
and then blasted into him. For Samter, I got
blasted into him.
I got to ask Samter what he was doing wrong there.
I haven't been able to get the full details of him. Yeah, exactly. He had to have been doing at least something wrong. It's a bus. How do you not see a bus?
Here's the good thing. I would say Brock probably outweighs me by a few pounds. I don't know, 20, maybe 15?
15 when we were working together, probably 25 since.
You said that Brock has put on poundage.
He has.
I didn't notice that.
He's a little doughier. But he's also got the free buffet every night at CBS. So.
You think that's it, not the sleeping?
No. I think the fact that the guy used to eat basically a muffin and itch his elbow every day when he worked here in the overnights. He couldn't get a proper appetite, and now he's eating a hot buffet on the house every night.
Yeah, that's a good point. Now with 8 hours sleep, he's got a full appetite. But Samter is 5'0". I mean, Samter is legitimately 5'2", I think.
Yeah,
5'4".
He literally looks like a jockey in the Belmont.
Yeah. So if he can survive getting hit by a bus, I like my chances.
Well, I guess that's a good way to look at it. I don't wish that on you.
All right, this is the Permission Granted podcast. Subscribe to us on both iTunes and on YouTube. The DA Show, use the username there on iTunes. The DA Show, CBS Sports. To search for us, I'm going to put this on Facebook as well, facebook.com/The DA Show. Embed it there. You can watch it there. Mraz is going to be talking to the one and only Kenny Brock right now.
All right, welcome back to Side B of the Permission Granted podcast. I'm the executive producer of the DA Show, Sean Mraz. Kind of have a little shuffling of the tent since Steve Moralia left, so we're going to check in with an old friend today, former associate producer, musical director of the DA Show, Kenny Brock. Kenny, what's up?
Sean, what is up, bro?
Nothing, man. This has been a fantastic podcast. We have Jayda Diamond, the adult film star, on the first half with DA, and now you. So really,
jump off. That's my side piece.
Well, is that right?
That's right.
Jade is.
She's got some interesting choices in cinema.
Yeah, she does. She's a great girl. Was a listener to ours on the overnight, which I found fantastic.
Right.
Does what she has to do, and then checks in on us, which I think is great.
What is it that she has to do?
Well, she works, and then
Hey, listen.
she has a job that involves some late nights, and then
right.
then checks in and used to listen to us three bozos on the radio. I think that's great. You always wanted to know what a target demo was. I think now we know.
That's the target demo. Adult film stars in Cleveland, Ohio, making things disappear and then turning up for, little night lights. What DA got at number one tonight? You know what I mean?
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. So I don't know if you've been you probably haven't been following closely what's been going on with the DA show, but now you are, ancient memory is we've had our second associate producer leave the show, Steve.
That's what I heard.
Steve Moralia out of the mix now.
I saw Ward a couple of days ago. His girlfriend did me a solid and walked my dog while I was out of town, and I had to give James a bottle of Jameson's that I bought for his girlfriend as a thank you. And he
nice.
had informed me that he was moving on doing some sort of social media something or other, which is surprising because the guy can barely spell his own name.
Well, are you aware of what he's doing exactly, in all seriousness?
Ward kind of told me that basically just monitoring social media, and anyone that kind of talks shit about James Dolan, they're reporting back to him, kind of.
Essentially, he's like one of James Dolan's spies.
Like, dude, what a paranoid prick.
Is that right? James Dolan, paranoid prick. Can we quote that? Can we get that as a headline?
Yeah, I don't care.
It's unbelievable. And then the guy he entrusts in this is Steve-O.
Yeah, sure, but that's what I'm saying. Like, the dude doesn't even have his own freaking Twitter account. He barely knows how to, form a freaking coherent sentence. And then this guy's going to be out here basically being a snitch. Hey, man, snitches get stitches, and Steve's well on his way to getting stitched up.
How about that? That's strong words. So that's what I love. We get the uncut Kenny. Now, I'm not sure if I'm going to see you in a couple weeks. We mentioned this a little bit on the air. Maybe you'll show, maybe you won't. DA's got a little birthday party going on in his new place.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. Heard about, and Berman's been asking me, oh, are you going? Are you going? Because I need to take off. Berman, leave me alone, you freaking loser.
Yeah, Berms really wants to take off to go. I am going. I know you have family obligations, but that may not happen. The reason I bring this up is, for me personally, I've never been in the DA Casa, his old one or his new one.
Me neither.
Okay.
We were never invited. Like, Joe, we sweat blood, sweat, and tears for the guy for 2 years. And can I get an invite for a barbecue or a peanut butter and jelly sandwich on a Tuesday?
To be fair, during the snowstorm when I stayed with somebody, I stayed in a hotel, whatever it was. He invited me back.
With me?
Oh, I did stay with you. That's right. I did.
When CBS TV put me up and
I
gave you the extra bed. I
snaked in. He did invite me, so I have to be fair. He has invited me. But the bottom line here is, I'm going to be sitting there. I'm going to be having beers. There's rumors of a taco station. Do I go yard in DA's bathroom?
Oh, absolutely. You go upper decker. Like, I'm thinking like you go yeah. That's what I'm saying.
I almost want to call in Chris Berman and have him do the play-by-play of me, quite frankly, for better or for worse, taking a dump in DA's bathroom.
And, to be honest, I think you leave a floater. See how his girlfriend reacts. Because I heard he's got a new
that's awful. That'd be like the old Dane Cook. Like, I leave a floater, somebody comes running back screeching, somebody left a floater in DA's toilet. And I just go, somebody left a floater, and I fade back, act like it's not me.
Yeah, except everybody will know it's you because you could build a jetty with what comes out. You're like freaking Vito over here from The Sopranos.
So I think I have to, but that's going to be see, the thing is, for others that live in the city, for those who are listening, the city's easy, the subway, DA's living in Brooklyn. It's easy to kind of get around and take the subway. Me, I live on Long Island. I'm going to take the subway, Long Island Railroad. It's going to be a longer trip home for me. So if I'm eating tacos and I'm drinking, well, if the goose gets loose, I'm not going to be able to hold it till I get home like others may be, and I'm going to have to take care of business in DA's, cathedral.
Hey, if you got to step into the cage and take a couple cuts, you got to do what you got to do, man. I'm not going to hate on you for that. Hey, I might just do it just to say I did it.
What would be just to say like a bucket list item? Like, all right, I've seen a no-hitter, I've seen a goalie in hockey score. Oh, and I took a dump in DA's bathroom.
Took an upper decker in DA's bathroom. Was like, hey, what's up, pal?
What do you think DA would find more egregious? Me leaving skids on the porcelain or going through his medicine cabinet?
I don't know. DA's weird like that, so I could see him getting all pissy about the medicine cabinet.
And being less pissed about me, basically him having to go with the toilet brush and getting that toilet scrubbed out.
Right, like he'll make you clean the toilet, but he can't make you unsee what you saw in his medicine cabinet. Who knows, the guy may have, whatever. I know he's got some melatonin sleep aids in there. Remember the one time he came in, I was having all that trouble sleeping on the overnight, and his sister does some holistic healing kind of stuff.
Yeah, he had a whole bag for you.
What the hell? I didn't even. He's like, this is the black mamba. This is the, whatever, the grasshopper son. Like, don't mix those two together, though. I'm like, what the freak am I getting myself into here?
He had that stuff. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to this. But that's why I almost need you there, because I think it would be great to have you, like, kind of film me outside the door, film me coming out.
Are you going to send this to Jada after and be like, hey, here's a possible idea for your next thing, a Cleveland steamer in DA's bathroom?
Oh, come on. That's awful.
Maybe when she comes out in this fall, you can invite her over and you guys can make a whole thing. There is a better music video than that piece of crap Beastie Boys Zubaz video you guys did.
Boy, you're still harping on the Zubaz video. That was something.
Terrible.
The Zubaz, a drafty pair of Zubaz video that we put out on Facebook. When we were going to do that originally on the overnight, and Kenny vetoed it, wanted no problem with it. So DA got it passed without Kenny being here, and we did it. And we had a good time doing it. But you're still hating on it.
Well, it was wolf buzz. That's all I'm going to say.
It got a positive reaction. It did.
From who?
From everybody. All the listeners loved it.
That's I've heard from sources close to sources that there was a lot of wavering on that whole video, but I'm not going to get into that. But I'm saying, like, here, I'll come back. This is what I'll do, because now I'm kind of honing my craft here in television with my being able to cut stuff and make it all like pretty and cut it up. It's better than iMovie.
Right.
I'll come in. We'll do a video of, and what's the adult film star's name? Jayda
Diamond.
Jayda Diamond. Me, you, Jada, DA, Jacob Wilkins. You go in, you go to the porcelain thing, do your thing. She's in there, big. We'll get a real cutty, real 70s porn light. See if she's into that. Put that on Facebook and see how many hits that gets.
Yeah, well, I think our Facebook page might get shut down then, but,
Who, the bosses? They don't pay attention.
You really get the edgy Brock when he's out of the loop here. Oh, one more thing I wanted to bring up to you.
Yeah.
Last night, I guess it's timely wise, we'll call it Tuesday night. Tiffany Oshinsky was in studio doing trying to promote a karaoke challenge. She's trying to do with Mark Sanchez, your Eagles quarterback. So by the end, we had her singing Backstreet Boys with DA. And unbeknownst to anybody, in pops Pete Mundo, turns on the mic and starts cranking out Backstreet Boys, banging this thing out tone for tone.
Man, and Mundo used to be my boy too. I loved Mundo. Mundo was one of my top 5 favorite people over there.
Right.
But that's got to go. Put him right down the old.
You don't give him credit. Hopper. Like, nobody asked him to come in there and do that, and he knew every word, and he was having a great time. I thought it was great.
No, you take his. Yeah, of course you do, because you're like the Spice Girls, dude. You got to take his man card away. And by the way, what's with the suit and tie out of Mundo? Mundo, go in there in a T-shirt and shorts. I saw the picture on Facebook.
Oh, he had some meeting or something. That's why he was all dressed up, going there in a T-shirt and shorts. Basically, come in looking like the Cavs' 12th man.
Yeah, exactly. Well, hey, Cavs' 12th man is freaking Deli Dova, and who's out there displaying it. But by the way, did DA need assist? I didn't watch any of. I didn't listen to the podcast portion of it. I couldn't listen, to it live. But did DA need help with the lyrics to Backstreet Boys, or was he pretty well versed in that?
To be fair to DA, he kind of was following Tiffany's lead. She knew every lyric, and he kind of once she would start singing a word, it kind of came back to him. But he definitely didn't have it memorized where he could go off the cuff.
But at some point in time, that he was driving in his Nissan Pathfinder with his little curl going on, kind of doing a little head bob, met at the Roxbury thing by himself. And okay, I got you.
Jeez, boy, Brock is slinging out. I need you at that birthday party, Brock.
I think, honestly, I really do want to go. It's just, my cousin called me like a half hour before DA sent out the Evite, which, by the way, I mean, you got to love 2015. I get an Evite to a birthday party.
I loved it.
And he's like, I'm having a barbecue, this, that, and the other, and me and his buddies love to get tuned up. Like, I came back from a bachelor party in January. Me, him, and some other dudes went up to Vermont and just got black-showed for like 3 days. And we came back on Sunday and met up with his boys from home in Hoboken. And let's just be honest, like I blacked out for like probably 16 hours, and I came home, and the next day my girlfriend was so furious with me that she threatened to move out.
Oh, my God.
So it's like, yeah, one of those things like, yo, these guys are a good time, and I know that, but I don't really get to see you guys that often, so it's like a weird kind of balance for me.
All right, well, you just let me know when you know, because then we're bringing the filming crew, and we got to get things done in DA's bathroom.
As long as Jada's there, I'm in.
All right. That's going to wrap it up for the Permission Granted podcast. Keep following Kenny Brock on Twitter. Kenny, you got your Twitter plug?
Yeah, at KBrockJR.
And you can follow me on Twitter, at MrazCBS. Thanks to Jayda Diamond for joining DA earlier.
Have you seen a rise in your Twitter following since you went to MrazCBS? Because I told you to do that for forever.
Not as much as I would have liked.
Really?
Enough that I've seen a pop, but I would have thought a little more, to be fair. But also I bring nothing to the table on Twitter, so that's another problem.
Well, that's totally fair. I mean, you and Berman are two of the worst follows on Twitter.
I agree. I totally agree. But hey, just for that, I hope everybody follows me. But that's going to do it. Check us out on SoundCloud. Check us out on iTunes. YouTube.com/The DA Show. Facebook.com/The DA Show. Check out DA on CBS.com. And away we go. Have a good weekend, everybody.